Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to swapping my screen time for reading. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at last week's screen time and replace that time for reading. So let's open up my screen time. I was working on it recently to make sure that I'm around the 3-hour mark, preferably less, but I have been doing a lot on my phone recently and I think part of that is just because I have a break between work and school, so I don't have a ton to do, but that's not a good excuse. I still want my screen time to be low, so all of that to say I feel like my screen time is going to be high, but let's look. So last week my average was actually 2 hours and 47 minutes, which is pretty good, but surprisingly my bulk of my screen time was Monday and Thursday. So Monday, which is the amount that I'm going to read today, it was 4 hours and 15 minutes, which was my highest time. So we're starting with the longest. I think part of this problem was that I had definitely ignored my time restrictions because I had 55 minutes on Instagram this day and I have a time limit for 30 minutes on Instagram, so I definitely ignored it this day. Yeah, my social media time was 1 hour and 58 minutes because I don't have a screen limit on Pinterest, so my Pinterest was 1 hour and 9 minutes, which is a long time. I think part of the problem also is I'm trying to get into bullet journaling, so I've turned to Pinterest and I've been using Pinterest so much, which is not good. So maybe I should put a time limit on Pinterest. But let's pick out a book and we'll read my 4 hours and 15 minutes. I do have 2 books from the library right now on Libby on my iPad and my phone. So I have 5 days left to finish Spare by Prince Harry, which I'm 76% of the way through that one right now, so I'm not super worried about that one. I have 3 hours and 45 minutes left of it, so again, not super worried. I also have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover on here, which I have 10 days left to finish, but there's someone waiting, so I kind of want to read that first because I feel bad when someone's waiting for it, plus that means I can't renew it. So we might read that one next just because of that. Also, I've never read a Colleen Hoover book before, and the only reason I want to read this one is because the movie is coming out February, but I'm scared, to be honest. I'm scared of reading a Colleen Hoover book because there's so much controversy around her, just because I feel like everyone was loving her books and then all of a sudden everyone was like, actually, she kind of sucks. Writing wise, I'm not talking about like her as a person, but let's also go to my TBR shelf and we'll look at all the books that I own but have yet to read. Starting with this shelf, I have all of my Jane Austens. They're sitting there because they're so pretty and I love them so much, but I have yet to read any of them. And then this is my actual TBR shelf, which you can see this side is literally double stacked. The ones that I want to read the most are probably right here. So Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Iron Flame, Divine Rivals, and then there's some paperbacks back there that I really want to read as well, but as you can see, there's a lot here. So let's get to reading. We're starting my timer for 4 hours and 15 minutes. I also decided we're going to read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm actually really scared to read this, but we're gonna do it. And I'll tell you what I think. I feel bad, but I already have a couple complaints. First off, I can't picture Blake Lively as Lily Bloom. I feel like it's part of the problem when you read a book that's been like so hyped up that it's becoming a movie and like the cast is already out. Like I'm reading it kind of late in the game, but the thing that's bothering me more is the fact that Colleen Hoover just used like 2 like stereotypical quotes almost. Like she said, also I haven't even gotten to the 2nd chapter yet, so not much has happened, but these are the quotes that I'm referring to. One page it says, I feel like everyone fakes who they really are when deep down we're all equal amounts of screwed up. Some of us are just better at hiding it than others. And then on the next page it says, there's no such thing as bad people. We're all just people who sometimes do bad things. And I swear she opened like a cheesy quote book and put them in here because like, girl, that's a lot of cheese. I'm at 16% right now, or on chapter 4, and I'm not loving it so far. I haven't loved Lily's character, but I feel like she's on the come up for me. She's just felt kind of fake so far. Not like fake personality, but like she doesn't feel real. Like she feels like she's written in a book, if that makes sense. But what I came on here to complain about is the fact that her and Ryle have like this weird thing going on where they're basically like, okay, I'm gonna tell you a naked truth. Instead of like just being truthful, like you don't have to preface it by saying I'm gonna tell you a naked truth. That's so annoying. I have 2 hours and 2 minutes left on the timer for today, so I'm a little over halfway done with my reading for the day, which is shocking because I'm already 34% of the way through this book. So I feel like everything I've heard about Colleen Hoover so far is true. Her books do read really quickly, and I feel like that's part of why people kind of used her books to get back into reading. Now Now I am enjoying it at this point. She has some diary entries in here to kind of explain the past timeline, which I'm really enjoying. And I've started to like her character a little bit more because like I said in the beginning, I was not really vibing with her character. I still think part of the reason is that I'm having a really hard time picturing Blake Lively as her. I don't know why, because I feel like Blake Lively will definitely do her character justice and she's such a good actress. But also what I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around is the fact that Lily is supposed to be a redhead and Blake Lively is blonde. So I don't know if they're going to change that or if they're just going to go with the blonde. I kind of like that Lily is a redhead. I finished my 4 hours and 15 minutes for the day. I'm 65% of the way through the book. I for some reason thought I would have a lot more done by now than I do. I don't know why, especially because this is a lot and I'm a pretty slow reader, so I should be proud of that. But anyway, I do think you should check the trigger warnings before reading this because I had absolutely no idea what I was going into. It does get a little bit hard to read at times. Like I did think about putting it down and taking a break for a while, but I didn't. I powered through because honestly I wanted to finish my time for the day and relax. It does get a little bit hard to read, so if you haven't read it or you're thinking about seeing the movie, maybe you should look up the trigger warnings before doing either one of those things. But I am enjoying it so far. It just at points is becoming hard to like binge, which that could easily just be a me thing, like in my feelings towards what's happening in the book, because I know a lot of people like read Colleen Hoover or they were reading her a lot because of how bingeable she is, so I feel like that's just a me thing. It is now Tuesday, so we're on day 2 of swapping my screen time for reading, and I am exhausted today because I always read before I go to bed, so I figured, okay, I'll just read It Ends With Us. Like, that's the only book that I'm reading right now. So I open it and yeah, I finish it. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I couldn't put it down simply because, and it's not even because I was like addicted to it and that I liked it that much. It was simply because I needed to know. I just needed to know what happened. And I do not have a rating right now because it was a really hard read and I see what Colleen was trying to do with it, what she was trying to write about and like what she was trying to say in her writing, because she included a little snippet in the back kind of explaining like where her inspiration came for the book. So I get that side of things. I just don't think she did it correctly because of the way this book has been misconstrued, like trope wise. Like, it is not a love triangle. I can't remember the other tropes I've heard about this book. There's things that happen that are just like not okay. Anyways, while I think on my rating for that, let's move on to my next book. Okay, so I'm looking at my screen time for last Tuesday and it was 2 hours and 56 minutes. And again, Instagram is my problem. I was on Instagram for an hour and a half this day. I will say though, actually, now that I think about it, this day I filmed a reel where I put in every single book I read in 2023 and that took a really long time for me to do, so I will give myself some credit there. I was creating a reel, which is part of my goals, is to make one reel a week, so I'll give myself that one because I remember that one took me forever. The rest of these days though, I don't have an excuse for my behavior. Anyways, 2 hours and 56 minutes and I already picked out my next read. We are gonna read Iron Flame. I've been a little scared to read this one because I hear a lot of people say that they don't like this one as much as they liked Fourth Wing, that it's slower, but like the last part makes it worth it. So I feel like maybe timing myself reading this is going to be helpful, but also holy crap, this font is so small. And also, if we don't pick up where we left off in the last book, I'm gonna be a little annoyed because like that's what I'm here for. I want to know what happens after that. Anyways, if you don't know anything about Fourth Wing, it's basically about a girl named Violet and she's training to become a writer, so you like follow her story and like all the crazy training and things that they do and like killing each other. It's insane. So I'm assuming we're just gonna follow her again in this book, but I can't even lie, I want to start this book because I'm reading 3 different series right now. I'm reading the Peculiar Children series and I'm also doing my reread of Harry Potter. Then I have this series, which this is the last book that's out right now, and I want to start reading Throne of Glass and the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, but reading more than like 1 or 2 series at a time stresses me out. So I'm gonna finish this one and this series will be like checked off mentally. Let's start my timer for 2 hours and 56 minutes and we'll get to reading. I just finished my reading for the day and I made it to exactly page 100. It kind of hurts me how slow I'm reading this book, but I'm really enjoying it, so it's okay. I'm actually liking it better than I thought I would, and that might be because I had really low expectations for it because of everything I've heard, but I don't think it's too slow right now. But also that might be because I love Violet and all of the characters so much that like just reading about them I'm interested in, and it did start almost exactly where the last book ended off, which is exactly what I wanted, so I'm really enjoying it so far. Happy Wednesday. I keep wanting to come on here and say welcome or welcome back. Like I've thought that literally yesterday and today. And that's like the only 2 days that I haven't needed to actually say that. Anyway, let's get into my screen time for today because my camera is about to die. So for today, my screen time was 3 hours and 4 minutes, with my longest used app was iMessage, then Instagram, and then actually Libby. But my social media category is still the highest, which was 1 hour and 27 minutes for all social platforms combined. So let's start my 3 hour and 40 minute timer. Also, I'm currently on page 179, chapter 19 of Iron Flame, and I'm loving it. I had time to read this morning before leaving for this event that I had to go to, which I just got home from. But I'm glad I didn't because I tried to start a timer for 3 hours and 40 minutes instead of 3 hours and 4 minutes. So I'm glad I caught that before I started the timer because honestly I don't think I would have realized that if I just kept the timer going. But I have like 20 to 30 minutes before I need to leave again to pick up my little sisters from school. So I'm gonna go read now. Literally the first time cracking my book open all day, which feels weird. I'm so tired that I'm falling asleep while reading, so I'm gonna take a break, but I have 1 hour and 45 minutes left for today, and I'm on page 215. I don't really have any updates right now, but I forgot to mention earlier that I like that she put a trigger warning at the beginning of the book because it's definitely something that Colleen should have done. But I read on Goodreads that she didn't put a trigger warning at the beginning of her book because she didn't want to spoil the plot twist, or maybe it's just because she paints horrible characters in a not so horrible light. I don't know. I have like 40 minutes of my reading left for today, and this is the latest that I've finished my reading this whole week. I'm like barely gonna finish it within like the actual day. So I have 40 minutes left and it's 10:36, but I'm on page 239 and I audibly gasped to the point where my mom was like, what happened? Let's go finish the rest of my reading. It's the next day. I did finish my reading yesterday, but as soon as I finished my 40 minutes, I immediately like headed the pillow. I was knocked out. I was so tired. It's the next morning and we're gonna actually start our reading earlier today because we've got less going on during the day, which is good, which means we won't be up late finishing my time for the day. Book-wise, there's not much to update you guys on. I'm on page 266 right now. Still really enjoying it. And I can't help but wonder if I'm enjoying it this much because I came in with such low expectations, or if I seriously am in like just enjoy it for what it is. But I think I'm just enjoying it for what it is. I don't know. But I for some reason thought I would be finishing this book today. Girl, I talked about this in another video recently. I will wake up every single morning and be like, I'm gonna finish my book today. I'm not finishing this book today. I have so much other stuff that I should be doing other than like just sitting down and reading all day. Let's check out my screen time for today. Thursday was my second highest day at 3 hours and 40 minutes, and I was on messages for 1 hour and Instagram for 51 minutes. So this was another day where I ignored my Instagram time limit, which I've been so bad about doing, and I know that and I need to fix it. And then Safari 31 minutes. I think this might have been a day where I was like cooking, and that's why some of these times are like this. I don't know. I can't remember. Yes, actually, that is what happened. I made a quiche this day. That's why I spent 30 minutes on Safari, because my quiche recipe, I found it online. So I guess that kind of makes sense to why that part happened. Everything else, I just need to be better about my Instagram addiction. So hopefully this week will teach me how much I can read instead of being on my phone, aka on Instagram. Because that's really, I feel like that's where my problem is at the moment. Focus on one thing at a time. Speaking of focusing on one thing at a time, I just got new glasses literally yesterday, and I have to wear them for the next couple of days to make sure that they like fit my head correctly, so I know if I need to go back to like get them adjusted, which I haven't gotten new glasses since early high school, and oh my gosh, I didn't realize like how clear the world could be, which I wear contacts almost every single day, but my contacts don't have my stigmatism in them for some reason. I don't know why. I should probably ask my eye doctor about that, but these have my stigmatism in them, and I can see so much easier because like the stigmatism problem is taken care of. Anyway, I think I like them, but I also think they make my eyes look small and my forehead look big, which I already have a big forehead, so I don't need to accentuate that by any means, but I think I like the shape too much to like change them. You know what I mean? Like this is just my favorite shape of glasses, like the round circles, but they're not too circly to where it's like, oh hey, Harry Potter, you know what I mean? Wait guys, you know what I just realized? Yesterday, did I try to start a 3-hour and 40-minute timer because I was looking at Thursday instead of looking at Friday? I mean, instead of looking at Wednesday? Maybe that's what happened, because today is 3 hours and 40 minutes and I got confused yesterday. 3 hours, 40 minutes. Let's do this thing. I just read for a while because this book is getting so good. I'm now on page 321, chapter 36, and holy crap, you guys. If you saw my reading vlog of Fourth Wing, then you know I didn't love Fourth Wing. I wasn't like totally obsessed with it like while I was reading it, but something about it, as soon as I finished the book, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I've been dying to start Iron Flame, and I don't know, I'm just loving Iron Flame more than Fourth Wing. I don't know why. I think maybe because like I just got so attached to the characters in Fourth Wing, and now like going into Iron Flame, I already have these love for the characters that like in Iron Flame I don't have to like think about the characters. I'm already like, yeah, you guys are so slay. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it. I don't know what's going on, but recently in the afternoon when I'm trying to read, I will literally just be like nodding off constantly. I have 16 minutes left on my timer, so we're about to power through and finish this without falling asleep. I'm currently on page 382. I'm really enjoying it still, but like I said, I'm just so tired. Just finished my reading for the day. I finished on page 392, and I'm probably gonna be done for at least a little bit since I'm so tired and reading is making it worse. Some of you guys might take my plan for today's reading as cheating, but I don't think it's cheating. So let's check out my screen time for today. So today's time is 2 hours and 24 minutes, and I have a 2 hour and 30-minute car ride today. So I am simply going to listen to my audiobook for the entire car ride, and I'm doing it this way partly because I don't want to like go where I'm going and then just sit and read for 2.5 hours, and also I did just start a new audiobook because I think I mentioned earlier that I was listening to Spare as the audiobook, and I finished that one a couple days ago. So I started The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up. I feel like I can't curse on YouTube, I'm sorry. But I started that and I'm only 8% of the way through, and it's only a 5-hour audiobook, so I kind of want to keep reading it, but so far the gist that I'm getting is simply like the title, like stop caring so much about things that like you don't need to care about, you know what I mean? But also he almost brings it to the point where it's like just stop caring in general. I don't know if I can ever do that, but we're gonna see where he goes with that. Before we get into today's reading, I need your guys' advice on something. I just went to Barnes & Noble and I somehow ended up talking to like one of the guys that was working there about Sarah J Maas, and he gave me this, which I've seen this online because I was looking for like the tandem read of Throne of Glass. Guys, let me know what you recommend. If you recommend I start with Assassin's Blade or read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight and then Assassin's Blade, because I cannot decide, because for the longest time I was like, oh, I'm gonna read Assassin's Blade first, but then so many people have now recently told me to read Throne of Glass first, so I like actually cannot decide. So let me know what you guys recommend in the comments, because I'm so like I just can't decide. Anyways, okay, let's talk about The Subtle Art of Not Giving a. I am 79% of the way through, and to be honest, it feels like it's too much about himself instead of like a self-help book, you know what I mean? It's like he's saying so many stories and I'm just not getting a lot out of it. That could just be like a personal experience, and like I don't feel like I want to just stop caring. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't think that this book was written for me, so not loving it, but that's okay. There was also a comment in the beginning of this book where he said something about a woman, and she's like she's an actress. I don't know why I'm trying to hide it. He said something about Jennifer Aniston that really rubbed me the wrong way, and then he said another comment about a woman later on. I can't remember what he said exactly, but it just really rubbed me the wrong way that he made these inappropriate comments in what's supposed to be a self-help book. And he is very intense in the beginning, a lot of cursing. I just don't think that this book is for me personally. Also, I wanted to mention that I will put my little review of Iron Flame either in the description or the comments, so you guys at least get my review of that one. I think this Subtle Art of Not Giving a is gonna end up being like a 2-star for me, honestly, because like I said, 79% of the way through, and I'm not really getting anything out of this enough for it to be a self-help book for me. But I will put my rating for Iron Flame in either the comments or the description box. So if you're curious on what I thought about it, I'll put it there. But I will say so far, I do think it might end up being a 5-star read because I love it. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, even when I'm not reading it, I'm thinking about the characters. So I'm really enjoying it, even though there are some parts that are a little bit cringy, but I can overlook that because of how much I'm enjoying it. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!